Hey yo, how we doing, mi gente? Welcome to another episode of Elevated Podcast. Thank you guys for tuning in. It's your boy Juan Lozada. Yet another week, but actually today is actually the last day of March, which I'm like, wow. And second of all, next week, if you're listening to this next week, happy first, second, third, fourth, fifth. I don't know, whatever time you're listening to this, but happy April. I hope that you guys have an amazing month, an encouraging month, an inspirational month, a month that you achieve what you're setting your minds to, the goals that you have for yourselves. I really hope that you guys go out there and achieve them. I'm so excited to be here with you guys yet another week. Man, it's really humbling to to speak. It's so humbling to be here, because who am I? I'm absolutely nobody, and I don't even do this for the views. No one pays me for this. I absolutely just do this because honestly, I know that I'm telling someone and I'm giving someone something that they need, whoever that is. So that brings me peace. It's not about how many likes, how many comments, whatever. Although they're nice, but more than anything, I do this because honestly, God is watching, and I really want Him to be proud of me one day. So this episode, I actually wanted to talk about fear. And so without further ado, let's talk about this fear. Now, fear is definitely an interesting topic for me. I've heard people say fear can either cripple a man or make him a hero. But I wanted to dig in on the origin of fear and why fear is so impactful in our lives. I wanted to start off with a quote by Master Yoda himself. The quote starts like this: "Fear is a path to the dark side. The dark side leads to anger. Anger leads to hate, and hate leads to suffering." End of quote. Now, I actually started mountain biking as of recently, and I absolutely love the sport. I love the thrill of it. I love the scenic views. I love the physicalness of it. I simply just love the sport. It's really fun for me. Now, the first time that I actually went out to the trails, I was with my cousin, and so he began to lead because he knew the trails better than me. So he went in front, and the first drop, literally the first drop, and I was hitting maybe like 20, 30 miles an hour, just going downhill. And it was just, at that moment, I was like, man, that was fun, But the adrenaline was pumping, and I was excited for the rest of the trail. But when it came to the technical part of mountain biking, going uphill, clearing 5-foot gaps, falling, how can I forget that? The things that hurt just didn't add up to going down the hill. You see, the positive weighed out the negative. So as we came to a water stop, I told my cousin that it was fun. And it also was very, very scary. And so we continued the trail. But as the trails got harder, fear started to seep in. Looking over ledges, noticing how high the falls were. The more I feared the trail, then the more I actually thought about falling, the more chances that I had of falling. And most of the time I did fall because I was scared. Now, in our own lives, in our own careers, in our education, in our finances, in our relationships, how much times do we stay in this freeze motion because we're fearful? Because we start doubting our ability, our potential, our future, etc. See, I believe fear is healthy, but allowing fear to overtake our thoughts, emotions, will definitely lead for the fear to overtake our actions, and it will destroy us. Fear, for me, is not a sign of weakness. It's a sign of opportunity, an opportunity to grow, expand, learn, and overcome. Yes, fear comes in all shades, in all sizes, in all forms. As a matter of fact, the things that scare me, the things that I fear of, such as spiders, you might not find very fearful. You know, and I hope that one day I marry a girl that isn't afraid of spiders. Because guess what? If I see a spider in the room, I'm leaving that boy. Ain't no way I'm touching that spider. Ain't no way I'm killing it. I remember one time I was actually washing the dishes and I saw a spider and I called my brother and said, I'm going to need you to kill this because I'm not going to do it. And he did it. And so I'm going to need a wife that isn't scared of spiders. Because, Mom, I can do everything else, but listen to me. I'm going to need you to kill that spider for me, you know? But the things that you might be fearful of, maybe confined spaces, or I'm not quite sure, whatever you're fearful of, isn't really a fear for me. You see, some people think that fear is either automatic, instinct, or it's learned. I think that it's a mixture of both. Some fears are instinctively, such as pain through survival. Like, we need to go through pain to survive. Other things are learned, which consist of people, places, situations. They're caused by negative association with past experiences. You see, you didn't wake up one day and were scared of bodies of water. You had to go through an experience of drowning in order to say, I'm scared of a pool. I'm scared of the ocean. I'm scared of whatever the case may be. Now, I believe that the mind is a very powerful component. So powerful that some neurologists claim that humans are the most fearful creatures on planet Earth because of their ability to learn, to think, and create fears in their minds. Now, have you noticed that sometimes you make up scenarios in your mind and then you start to fear that event or situation? We tend to imagine things which aren't present and causes us fear. Now, there's no doubt in my mind that fear dictates our actions. Now, I want to talk about 4 stages that tend to happen when we come across fear. I want to give you an example. You get an email from your boss, from your company, and it says that we are going to have to start laying off people because of lack of resources, whatever. And so, number 1, you either freeze, flight, or fright. See, when you freeze, you stop what you're doing and focus on the fearful stimuli. You fight or flight, you deal with the threat directly or work around it. When we fear is really overwhelming, you experience fright. You don't fight, you don't flee, you don't do nothing except obsess about the layoffs, ruminate, complain, but take no action. Now, this could lead to hopelessness and depression. Why is fear so important in our lives? I think that fear has the capacity to make us greater, or it really impacts us in a negative way and destroys us. It destroys our values. It destroys our character. It destroys our future. It creates this negative cloud over our heads. Now, when we face fear, you must understand that you do not have to let it go. Just like when I'm mountain biking, there's times in my mind where I say, wow, this is really scary. But if I let the fear overpower me, overpower my thoughts, overpower my actions, guess what? My bike's going to wobble and I'm going to eat it. And I'm going to eat it hard. So don't allow fear to overtake you. Filter your fears. I believe that there's good fear. You know, like, it's not that fear is good, either good or bad, but it's the way we handle fear which makes it good or bad. So this week, I encourage fear, because fear allows us to grow. Fear allows us to become a better person than we were, overcome obstacles that we weren't even sure. You know, have you ever thought to yourself, or has anybody ever told you, you have so much potential? And have you ever wondered the next question? How can I produce that potential into achievements? Because I believe each and every one of you guys that are listening to this have a potential to grow to the person that you want to be, the potential to achieve your goals and dreams. But you really have to, you know, at this point, saying this quote is so cool, grabbing fear by the horns and not allowing it to control you, but you control it. So please, don't let fear overtake you this week. I hope you guys have a fantastic day, a fantastic week, a fantastic month. I pray for each and every one of you guys every time I get a chance. I love each and every one of you guys. Thank you guys for tuning in. Another episode of Elevated Podcast. I'm going to be here next week. I hope I'm not dead or anything like that. But I love you guys. You guys are amazing. Hey, peace in the Middle East, my brothers.